just put this and I will do the cut anyway. So.
Okay.
How are you today?
I'm very well, thank
Yes.
you. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great, thank you.
Good.
So just talk about love and love relationships. Are you single at the moment? Or do you have a partner? Do you have
I have a
husband?
partner.
Yeah? For how long have you been together for?
Oh goodness, 18 years?
Wow!
I know, a really long time.
And how did you meet?
It's actually quite romantic. So,
We want to know.
so we're in Bondi. We're on Bondi Road, and he works as a smash repairer. So he repairs all of the cars after accidents.
Okay.
And I just happen to be living in a unit, an apartment block, just next door to where he works.
Okay.
And so we share the same driveway, of which one of his customers, when he was dropping off a car, completely took out my car, which was parked.
Whoa.
Nothing to do with the business, just totally, separate, parked because I was in the apartment sleeping.
Okay.
And when I woke up to go to work, I ran downstairs. I was running really late for work, and I went to go and put the key in the car, and the whole car was totally damaged.
Okay.
And I turned around and I thought, who's hurt my car? Like, who's created this accident? And I'm looking because I can't open the door to get out, to get into the car to go to work, and there's nobody around. The car was parked. So I look around and I see this absolutely stunning man. Like, just, he's a beautiful man, just perfect, beautiful eyes, young, handsome. And he's walking around and he says, "Do you have your license? Is that your car? I need to see your license and registration." And I thought, who is this? Right?
That's really romantic.
Right, not romantic at all. And I thought, oh my gosh. Anyway, I said, "Look, I'm really sorry, I'm late for work. Did you do this?" And he said, "No, one of my customers has done this, and I'm really sorry. I want to make sure that you're very happy, and I'll fix everything. I just need to, organize the insurance and everything." And I said, "I'm so sorry, I'm late for work. I'll come back at the end of the day." And when I did, oh my goodness, it was just like fireworks everywhere. But I felt really odd because he was looking after my car.
Okay.
And so I kind of separated and didn't hear back from him for a whole year.
Oh,
He
wow.
fixed the car and we just kept distance. But on my birthday the next year, I found a little box with my name on it. And it says, "Happy birthday. Hope you're having a great year." And I thought, this is a bit strange. And I opened it and it was a ring made out of metal, like malachite. It's a special metal that's like one of those costume jewelry type of things.
Okay.
But yeah, and I thought, oh, who's this? And I'm looking around, and I see him just pop out, and he waves to make sure that I received it. And so from that day onwards, we just had a bit of, conversation and little presents left for each other. And
But for 1 year, you were not even texting each other? Like, it just
Nothing.
appears like that 1 year after? Wow, that's
Yep.
incredible.
I received like Happy New Year's and Merry Christmas, and so it goes Christmas, New Year's, and then my birthday. So it was right in succinct, and it was literally only 2 blocks down the road. And the amount of, because I suppose Australia is a country where lots of tourists, lots of immigrants come.
Yeah.
And so it seems a bit easier to, have those types of captivating, exchanges and meet different people.
That's
but
incredible,
yeah,
that
it was
story.
just a beautiful, beautiful little encounter. And then the present. And then I think our first date was maybe 3 weeks after that. And then he left for overseas 3 months after that.
Okay.
And he was meant to go for 2 years, but that in itself is another
Yay.
lovely story.
And so he went for 3 months and then he came back and you decided to be together?
Well, so on the day that he was leaving, or a couple of days leaving for overseas for 2 years, he says, "Oh, I'm really going to miss you. Do you want to help me pack?" And I thought, I'd love to help you pack. And so I bought this big bag of heart-shaped chocolates. And so I hid them all throughout the backpack and his toiletries bag and everything, and he goes away overseas. And about 6 months in his trip, he was, like traveling in a van with his friends. It got broken into, and his bag was taken, and so he had nothing except for the toiletries bag that was separate. And just one day, he was, out. Decided to brush his teeth when he got home and found the chocolates and thought, I'm just going to go home. Yeah, he's like, what am I doing? I want to go back to Australia. And when he arrived back, I met him at the airport, and we've been together ever since.
And do you believe in signs or soulmates?
Absolutely, 100%.
What's your theory about that?
I'm a firm believer that as you start to learn about yourself and what you want, what you don't want, your heart really starts to look out for those types of qualities and interactions from people. So you just start to emanate that feeling, that expression, the sensations that you want, and that pulls the people who want the same thing.
Yeah.
And I really think that's why people say what you put out is what you get back. Those energies, the romance, the passion, the fire. It's really I'm a firm believer that's what happens, and I think that if you have space and capacity to find those people, you attract them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Nikola Tesla said that everything in the universe is energy, vibration, and frequency.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. And so those vibrations and frequencies, they can travel. They say it's at least one arm span away from where your arm ends, and extends completely around us. There's quite a lot of quasi-experimental science to show and indicate that is true. And yeah, I suppose it's a beautiful thing because I actually experienced it, I felt it.
Yeah.
And once you kind of have gone through that once, you recognize that when things are meant to be, doors open.
Yes.
You don't have to do anything. It's very effortless. And when you're not meant to be with somebody, or things aren't meant to be working out, or you're pushing things the wrong way, things do close, become more difficult, challenges thrown in the way until you can kind of turn around and have a look at how you're impacting it and what you're doing to allow it or not allow it.
That's true.
As long as you're aware and conscious, I think that we can definitely create and manifest,
Yes.
especially in love.
Yeah.
That vibration,
Sure.
that heart space is one of the biggest and strongest.
Yeah. That's the most powerful.
Oh,
feeling.
it's just gorgeous. Yeah, absolutely.
So, what's your definition of true love? Like, how did you do to keep this love so powerful for 18 years? What's your definition of love? How to love well?
Those are two very different questions. How do I know a soulmate, and how do I know to love well? I think overall, like, a soulmate has got a reciprocation, an equal but opposite features, personalities, characteristics to what the other person is carrying. And I think that, when people say opposites attract, I do strongly believe that opposites do often make a yin and a yang. There's got to be a positive and negative, more masculine or more female, and that space has to kind of know when to be flexible, when to be standing strong, when to set boundaries, when to forfeit what you want in order to allow the other person space and time. So all of that is about reading each other's, not just physical, signs, but more emotional needs and, energetic contributions. And, if you can read the other person and the other person can read you, then it's almost a tango. You know, it's just like, it is a dance. It's a love dance, you know, because it's like sometimes they need more and sometimes they need less, and sometimes we need more and sometimes we don't need much, you know, but it's about reading and then allowing, you know, especially as time goes on.
Yes.
It's also about enabling the other person to grow as an individual. That individual must be able to develop their own person, their own personality, their own love and passion for life. Because then they bring back to the relationship that joy, that experience, that intelligence, that detail, you know. And so it doesn't really matter, you know, what kind of person you are. It's more about knowing that we are individuals here on this planet. And when we have a counterpart or a partnership, it's having that partnership really work with, you know, our objectives and ebb and flowing. So I really think that if we're able to do that and recognize that, I think there's that concept of being a soulmate, because what you're actually doing is enabling another soul to travel through the journey of life with you and for them.
Yes.
There's a great quote, I'll be me for you and you'll be me for me. You'll be you for me.
Yes.
Right? So it's basically saying, if I can be my own individual, I become a stronger, better person that you get to enjoy.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
And same thing for you, you know? If I empower you to grow and flourish, then you're just a better person for me to share.
Sure. I love this definition.
Yeah,
That's
it's just a really nice concept and poem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that's kind of loving well too, coming to the second question. You know, do you love well? It's tricky.
It's related to what you said.
Yeah.
Like letting the other be his own personality, his own, like be able to achieve his dreams and to become the person he want to be without boundaries.
Yes.
That's
Yes,
really makes
knowing
sense.
boundaries. I think that's a really strong point. Because loving well isn't just about pushing your love on someone else. If they don't want it, you've got to be able to read that and then hold back and hold space for them while they kind of transition. So, yeah, it is about knowing boundaries, sharing, being flexible.
And I'm really interested about what you think about love relationships nowadays, like the new generation that seems to be a bit lost with, you know, all the meeting apps that didn't exist like even 10 or 20 years ago, and all these virtual meeting first that can totally shift the way we act when we meet in person. What do you think about all that?
There's so many things that I think about that, to be honest. So I lecture at one of the universities, and so I have a big cohort of different students, and they fall quite much in that category. Unfortunately, I feel like there's a component that there never was before, where people have lost the sense of reality in those encounters because it's staged. There's a difference between going and doing something that you love, a passion, whether it's, you know, art or, you know, film or sport. Doesn't matter what it is. But if you're out doing that passion of yours, you know, drawing or going to see movies or, you know, going and, you know, playing different team sports, you're more likely to meet people who are like-minded, who share similar you know, joys in life. Whereas when we're using these apps, and what I see a lot from the younger generation seems to be using the apps slightly differently to those that might be maybe over 35 into, you know, 50 divorces. And so I feel like those are two different categories.
Sure.
The category where they're using the apps to you know, find their partner is a bit staged, because it's, you know, let's meet at such and such, and then, you know, you're kind of forcing two people who know very little about each other to try to connect on a real level. But everything is staged, from where they are, from what they're doing to, you know, and it seems interesting that more of the apps that focus on, integrating and using algorithms to pair people are more successful. Just random apps that are looking to hook people up. There's a bit of a disparity there, and that's one group.
Yeah.
There's another group that seems to be using it to reassure themselves, to buy them confidence, to buy them social status, to fulfill or tick a box within their social network. Sometimes it's actually really quite horrible. Some people can use it to hurt other people or to retaliate, and I just think there's a lot of danger in that, especially because some people who are using it are really young and they may not be socially developed.
Yes.
So that's another component of the social media aspect. I think science has shown quite significantly that those that are using these apps have lost the ability to communicate to different age groups in different generations. So, those that have been using a phone since 15, they might be 20 now, but they go and visit, parents, uncles, grandparents, and, they're not so aware of how to communicate and how to, share dinner without a device.
Yeah.
They're so used to using a device, it's more comfortable for them to send a text message to granddad or a photo to granddad than to go and visit granddad, and so that component is really shifted how people are using that, the technology to encounter and then to connect with other people.
Yes.
I just think there's so many different components. I think we're losing touch with that strong connection, human to human.
Sure. Because there is a lot of people, like if we talk about the first group, like for instance after 30, 40, after some divorces, and you try to connect with someone, you know what you don't want, you know what you want, and just you are a bit stuck in your routine.
Yes.
And you don't know where to find this person, so you go on those websites, and there is a lot of sadness as well, because they feel a bit lost, they don't know where to find, and they mostly maybe are like disappointed because they felt something, but actually it was just for one night, and so they can lose their confidence as well.
It's interesting that you say that, because you raise a good point. Without disclosing too much, I work in an area where I see quite a lot of people and speak to a lot of people, whether it be single, divorced, or couples that are finding things tricky. And one of the main consistencies across all three of them, so it doesn't matter what scenario it is, all three of them will say things like, I've had a great experience one day and then nothing.
Yes.
Or there's no connection. I don't know what went wrong. And I think that a lot of people hide very much behind the social media, behind the technology. And it's a lot easier nowadays to, not answer a text.
Yeah, and
then
think
to,
about what you will say, but in person there is this rush of, I need to answer now.
Exactly.
I need to be myself, actually. That's scary, to be myself.
Yeah, it is. So it takes not only more confidence, but the knowledge. And I just think that there's so many variables to make that connection happen with a device that, once upon a time, if you were out and, you were meeting somebody, you could read their body language, you could experience and share and feel the space between the other person, that you'd be able to say, you know what? He's really shy.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not going to call straight away.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be the one to reach out first.
Yes.
But sometimes the device, you're just reading words that you can perceive and misunderstand that like they're not interested.
Sure.
And so I just think there's a lot of missed opportunity all the time because of people's lack of self-confidence.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, so I think the generations coming up are at a disadvantage with social connections, social interactions, and really enhancing how you can use technology on top of what we already have, but you have to have the skills as a human first.
To be able to read between lines.
Yeah.
And not just like stuck on just some words.
Static. Yeah. And that goes to, you know, that energy between people.
That's
and,
true.
you know,
Yeah.
even going to a party, when you walk into a room, you can generally feel the vibe of a party, you know? It's like,
That's true.
so there's little pieces that we're starting to kind of lose, I think, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this interview. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I hope I was able to help with answering the questions.
It was a really interesting interview. One of the best I did so far.
Oh,
so
yay,
thank you so much. Really.
You're very welcome.
Help a lot of people.
I'm sure. Good. Pleasure.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you.